I hate calisthenics. Not the activity, the word. It's a terrible word to use to describe what we do. I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and I can tell you that the word calisthenics used to mean a completely different thing. But don't worry, I have the perfect solution. Welcome to Calisthenics Through the Ages. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Rob Peterson. I just turned 55, and I think this video will prove that I have officially become what my kids already think I am, a crotchety old man. All right, let me start over. I love what I do. It's the most fun way to work out. But it's kind of hard to describe. I've always thought of it as gymnastics, or at least the strength component of gymnastics. I've often described it as extreme bodyweight strength. The extreme part would differentiate it from like push-ups and pull-ups. I've also sometimes used the words acrobatics or hand balancing. They sort of fit, but they don't really capture the strength building aspect of it. But sometime in the last couple of decades, people started using the word calisthenics to describe this activity. The word calisthenics used to mean something very different. If the word was used in the context of military training, like boot camp, then it would be understood to include things like push-ups and pull-ups. But if it was used in a general context, the word calisthenics used to mean the stuff that you did to warm up for gym class. It was boring, everyone hated it, and it consisted of things like jumping jacks and toe touches. And maybe push-ups, but only if done badly. Everyone knew the word. The only place you ever heard that word was in gym class, and I am telling you that that is what the word meant. Super boring exercises that no one ever did except when a gym teacher made you do them. Not only that, it was kind of a sexist word. Very often it was like, okay, the boys are going to play basketball, and the girls are going to do calisthenics. It definitely did not mean awesome strength moves. Everyone who was alive and went to school knew the word calisthenics, and no one had ever heard of a planche. Don't believe me? Go find someone over the age of 50. Not a bodyweight strength athlete, but an ordinary person. Find someone over the age of 50 and ask them what calisthenics means. I'm telling you, sometime between 10 and 20 years ago, the meaning of the word changed. I did not approve this change. I was not even consulted. Okay. I suppose that the dictionary definition of the word calisthenics is something like strength and conditioning exercises that are done using only body weight. And so logically, it could include things like planches. But the clear connotation of the word was boring, easy things that you did to warm up before moving on to whatever was the main thing you were going to do. Calisthenics was never the main thing. One problem with the word calisthenics is that it doesn't draw any distinction between things that anyone can do, like jumping jacks and sit-ups, and elite strength moves like muscle-ups and planches. So I find it entirely insufficient. It doesn't capture the awesomeness of what we do. You would never get a sense of the incredible skill involved in something like a one-arm handstand. And high-level calisthenics athletes, and of course I'm not talking about myself here, but like competitive street workout guys, have a legitimate claim on being the strongest people on earth pound for pound. It's got to be either them or gymnasts. The lame word calisthenics does not do justice to that. So what are we going to do about this? Our sport deserves a name that makes people stand up and take notice. And there are a couple of good names out there. Street workout is pretty good, much better than calisthenics. I wouldn't be unhappy if that was the name. But it doesn't quite capture the essence of what we do. But there's another name out there, an awesome name. Beast skills is the perfect name. The skill aspect to what we do is right there in the name, and the word beast implies a ridiculous level of strength. That is a name. Just imagine if that was what everyone called our sport. It would be like, what do you do? I do CrossFit. What do you do? I train beast skills. Oh, damn. I always wanted to try that, but I was too afraid. Instant respect. But unfortunately, the name Beast Skills has already been taken by one Jim Bathurst, who very selfishly took that name for himself, just before I was about to think of it. Now look, fair's fair. Jim thought of the name first, and he can do what he likes with it. But I have a proposal for Jim, and for the whole community. And in my humble opinion, it's brilliant. It would solve all our problems. But before I tell you what my proposal is, I want to say a few serious words about Jim and about Beast Skills. Jim was a pioneer. Not so much as an athlete, although he is a great athlete, but in terms of putting high-quality instructional content on the internet for anyone to learn from. I think I discovered the website beastskills.com in 2007 or 2008, but his blog posts go back to 2004 or 2005. And back in those days, he was one of the only people making tutorials about high-level bodyweight strength. He may have been the only one. He was the first online source for this stuff that I ever found. This was in the early days of YouTube, and there wasn't a lot of content yet. There were some gymnasts and bodyweight strength guys posting videos back then, but there was nobody on YouTube making instructional videos about bodyweight skills at that time. This was before the famous Hannibal for King video, which is probably what started the whole street workout phenomenon. His website, beastskills.com, is just great. It was enormously influential for me. I had done gymnastics when I was younger, but back problems had forced me to stop when I was around 30. When I discovered Beast Skills in around 2007, I was in my early 40s, and it was what really got me started. His excellent tutorials made the skills seem accessible, and it made me think, hey, maybe there's some way I could train this stuff again. It kind of bugs me because I feel like Jim and Beast Skills aren't well known today. He doesn't have a big presence on YouTube. He does have YouTube and Instagram channels, as well as other social media, and he does post videos, but he doesn't make a big show of it. He doesn't make long instructional videos with a lot of talking. I don't know why. I think he's busy focusing on his career. I believe that he's a coach and personal trainer. Also, I think his focus these days is more on powerlifting. And he's probably more well-adjusted than most of us YouTubers are, and he just doesn't feel the need to put on a song and dance like we all do. Anyway, it's his decision. But you know, in this age of social media, it's like if you haven't done anything in the last 5 minutes, everybody forgets about you. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like most of the younger people don't know about Jim. I think people don't know what a seminal contribution he made to our sport. Again, beastskills.com is awesome. There's a bunch of great tutorials. They're not videos, they're text with pictures, but they're very good, and I think they stand up really well almost 15 years later. You should take a look. You can learn a lot from them. And there are really great articles and posts, including interviews with some of the old-time bodyweight strength pioneers. One of my favorite articles is this memorial to the famous Jasper Benincasa, who still has a claim on being the strongest bodyweight athlete of all time. He hasn't updated the site much recently. Some of the links are broken and so on, but the tutorials and the articles and the interviews are all there, and they're great. Anyone who trains bodyweight skills, or who's interested in the history of our sport, should check out beastskills.com. And Jim himself is an amazing athlete. He's mostly self-taught, but has managed to master a number of elite bodyweight skills. He's also a very accomplished powerlifter, and he does lots of other stuff, including CrossFit, Olympic weightlifting, and many other things that involve strength and skill. And in addition to all that, he managed to come up with the perfect name for our sport. Anyway, to Jim, I want to say thank you for your contribution. Thank you for what you've done for our sport, and I look forward to following your great content in the future. Now back to the main topic, my proposal. Okay, I hope I've convinced you that the sucky word calisthenics needs to go. And I hope you all agree that Beast Skills is the perfect name. So here's my proposal. Jim, you know I love you, man. Hear me out. I propose that you give the name Beast Skills to us. Not to me, but to the whole community. Then we will have an uber cool word to describe what we do. And here's the best part. You take the name Mr. Beast Skills. Jim, think about it. It's a win-win. Well, okay. I don't actually expect anything to come of this. I just wanted to put my 2 cents in, get it off my chest, you know. What about you guys? Has anyone else noticed that the meaning of the word calisthenics has completely changed? I've maybe exaggerated a little in this video, but I swear, every time someone asks me how I stay in such great shape, and I tell them that I do calisthenics, they say, "Oh, you mean push-ups and pull-ups?" I swear to you, sometimes people even say jumping jacks. Let me know in the comments if you've noticed the same kind of thing, and please let me know if you have any brilliant ideas about what we should call our activity, or if you have any thoughts about Jim Bathurst. And definitely check out beastskills.com if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, good luck with your training, and I'll see you in the next video.